with babies, you've got to see at this time of their life, they're producing a huge amount of stem cells and growth hormones, and a whole healing is going on to set them up for the whole of their lives. And I think this is also activated to some extent, or maybe even totally, with holographic breathing. You certainly get a fantastic breath through the brain, and it certainly opens up through the brain in a way that I don't know anything else that does. If you want to breathe your brain, try holographic breathing. So in holographic breathing, there is a gentle motion of the mouth, and this gentle motion of the mouth instigates a movement of the breath through the whole body, connects to the earth, and also instigates a whole energy healing system that opens up through the whole body at the same time. And interestingly, this motion of the mouth is very much like a subtle form of suckling, and also relates a lot to that time of life, and is very helpful for healing anything that happened through those early years. And also interestingly, babies come in with this motion of the suckling. It's part of them when they're born, and they instantly want to suckle. Along with this, there's a movement of the hands and feet. You see this in kittens or in puppies, how they're palming, how their hands and feet are opening and closing when they're suckling. And if you watch babies, they're doing these movements a lot anyway. They're doing a suckling motion with their mouth, they're cupping and spreading their hands and feet. It's part of their whole body and being. And likewise, there's a movement of the hands and feet in holographic breathing that again is very similar to this movement of the hands and feet in babies. And in this next webinar, I show how that works in holographic breathing and how it aligns absolutely with the motion of the mouth. It is exactly the same thing, part and parcel of the same thing, and how it is absolutely aligned with the breath. I think babies are using this, well, they're using it for everything, but within that, a major factor is it is enhancing their breath, their lungs, their chest. And if you think about it, when they were in the womb, they weren't using their chest, or not so much. They could do breathing a bit there, but not like breathing with air. So as they change climate, the first thing is to take a deep breath and start opening up the lungs, and then the blood flow instantly opens and changes through the whole lungs. So I think it is part of that very much in a baby anyways, this first breath. So I'll be teaching how these movements of the hands and feet are aligned with the breath in holographic breathing. And there is also something quite counterintuitive in this, which isn't, I think, normally seen in this suckling motion of the hands and feet. It's not noticed, and I show how this unfolds. And I show how you can absolutely produce your own breath, deep, long breaths through the hands and feet, that they orchestrate the breath. And also how this movement of the jaw, of the mouth, is orchestrated by and orchestrating the breath. And the movement of the hands and feet are orchestrated by the breath and orchestrate the breath. They are intertwined. They are part of the same thing. And this gives you a deep, deep breath and a deep healing. And I think babies, this is how babies are healing themselves. It is part of a whole healing system. Not only does the movement of the breath open up through the whole body with holographic breathing, a whole energetic healing system comes to light of different colors, different vibrations, different qualities relating to the different organs or different energies, the different vertebrae. This opens out and maps through the whole body in a very holographic way. That is why I've called this holographic breathing. And I think this is accessed by the babies, and we access this in holographic breathing. And I would have died, or to my mind I would have died without holographic breathing. I was dying of Lyme's disease. And I'd had it for about 7 years without knowing it, and I was going from bronchitis to pneumonia to bronchitis to pneumonia. My nervous system was completely shot, my immune system was completely shot. I was shaking, I was unbelievably tired. I felt like I was being attacked by entities. And in that death experience of that, the holographic breathing did come through, and this new way of breathing did come through, and I progressively healed myself ever since with that and got better. And with babies, you've got to see at this time of their life, they're producing a huge amount of stem cells and growth hormones, and a whole healing is going on to set them up for the whole of their lives. And I think this is also activated to some extent, or maybe even totally, with holographic breathing. You know, Lyme's disease attacks the brain, and certainly in my case it did. It attacks the whole neural system and presumably kills glial cells, myelinated glial cells, you know, the different brain cells and nervous system cells. And with a baby, the brain is forming. You're getting new stem cells and it's growing all of the time. And maybe with holographic breathing, I'm hoping that in that we are breathing, for me, in the same way, that maybe we're producing more stem cells. Maybe we're able to heal the brain. You certainly get a fantastic breath through the brain. And it certainly opens up through the brain in a way that I don't know anything else that does. If you want to breathe your brain, try holographic breathing. I don't know anything where you can access the brain in the way you can in this. And in 2012, that became a permanent thing for me. My Kundalini had always been rising and going off, but it started going through the brain in a whole new way in 2012 and never stopped. And this was, one, a terrifying experience, but also an enlightening experience. I'm not enlightened, but it's an enlightening experience. and continued ever since. That energy never stopped. And in that, you cannot have the same relationship with the intellect that you had before. And in a way, the energies are going through the brain in a natural way rather than following the paths of the intellect. And if you think about it, a baby doesn't have an intellect. You know, it starts progressing and the intellect comes in later and then is modified through our whole lives. And it's interesting that when our new cells are born, they don't come in as new cells, they come in as 50-year-old cells or 60-year-old cells or however old we are. And for me, a lot of that may be dictated by our intellect, by the matrices we've set up through our neural system and our intellect, are programming the cells to come in at that age. So maybe if we are dropping back to the way babies breathe, and the way the energy can travel through the brain in a natural way, maybe the new cells that come into the body and into the brain can be newer. Maybe they don't have to be programmed as 60-year-old cells anymore. As a hope, you know, I would hope that holographic breathing is obviously so similar to whatever is going on in a baby. Maybe in some way we can access that incredible healing and growth and stem cell activity that is going on at that time in a permanent way. And also in holographic breathing, as it drops us into deep meditation, as the energies go through the brain, we're automatically in a different place, in a state of unification with the universe and the energies, because we're moving away from what we consider to be ourselves. We're not that identification anymore, so that the energies can go through in a natural way, and maybe we can produce a natural brain. But there's a whole evolutionary and healing system in holographic breathing, and in this one I am teaching how to integrate and work with these motions of the hands and feet, and how they absolutely exactly align with the movement of the jaw, with the movement of the breath, with our structures through our whole body on every level, and how it can help to heal us, and how we can start dropping away from who we consider ourselves to be, to a more place where we are one with the universe, our natural energies, and for me, our rightful place. And in that, maybe we don't have to go down this pathway of greed and destroying our earth, as we seem to be doing at this moment. So if there was ever a webinar that I would recommend to do, it's this one. If you were only going to learn two things, learn holographic breathing and one webinar in holographic breathing, this would be the webinar I would recommend. So please come along and enjoy. Okay, thank you.